Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Pearcey Presents the Pearcey Presents Podcast.
Hello and welcome, this is Pearcey of the Pearcey Presents Podcast. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the very first Pearcey Presents Podcast. As you would have seen in the show title, our first guest is none other than Mr. Heath Scotland.
Oh! Is it Scotland?
Yes.
Against the flow. He's groggy and still hasn't quite got up.
That's why this game is tough.
I'll say.
Such courage against all the flow there. Is Simpson to Murphy. Will they give Fev one? No, Murphy running in and caresses it home. And Scotland's groggy, but he helped in all of that, and he really is groggy.
Scotland the brave.
Former Collingwood and Carlton great, turned entrepreneur of SO Premium Signage. But more on that later. Also, I do apologise about the sound quality. We were on Lygon Street, so I have tinkered around with the audio, but that's why you'll hear some cars, some tinkering in the background of plates, etc. Not all the episodes will be like this, so I do apologise. I like to think it gives the show a little bit of atmosphere, so I just thought I'd give you a bit of a heads up on that as well. Due to Heath spending a generous amount of time with me, I've decided to cut this episode up into two parts. So what you'll hear today, the initial Pearcey Presents podcast, although you will see 3 episodes on the release date, is part 1. We're going to cover off a vast array of topics. And believe me, episode 1 is awesome, but part 2 is a cannot be missed episode. However, if I could get you to do me a huge favour, please. If you could please subscribe to the Pearcey Presents podcast. And once you've had a listen to these episodes, if you could rate me, and if you wouldn't mind giving me 5 stars, that would be a massive help. That'll help us get up the iTunes charts and hopefully get more listeners to the Pearcey Presents show. Also, I am running a competition, so there'll be a bit of a prize booty. Once we get to the 100 reviews and 100 subscriptions, you'll receive a Lindsay Gaze signed drink bottle or hat. You have a choice of one of those items, and a mini basketball, a signed Heath Scotland picture. I'm working on that as we speak. And a Pearcey Presents prize pack. That includes a Pearcey Presents hat, t-shirt, stickers, a Pearcey Presents travel mug, and a few other goodies that I'll include along the way. Until we hit that 100 5-star reviews, I'm going to continue to get items from our guests. And if we do reach 100 5-star reviews before the end of the Melbourne Comedy Festival, and you'll also get a ticket to a Melbourne comedian that has travelled the world and will be a guest in the next week or so. A little bit on part 1 of our chat with Heath. Heath was extraordinarily kind with his time, his passion and commitment to being an elite sportsman, growing up with a footy in his hands, the transition he made from an elite AFL football player to an entrepreneur, and a stop or two in between. He tells an absolute cracking story about originally not getting picked for Vic Country, but his passion and desire overcame that. This is an awesome story. If you're at an age where you have kids, get your kids to listen to it. This is an awesome, as I said, this is an awesome story about not taking no for an answer. If you really and truly want something, you need to go for it and not take no for an answer. Going back to coaching his local footy club where he grew up at Darley and winning a flag. His coaching philosophies, the battles between being selfish and being a team player at the elite level. Something that would be an interesting lesson for any player of a team sport. His time at the Pies, almost getting traded to the Roos, and why that didn't actually happen. Almost going to Freo, but back in those days, the fax machine didn't work. He talks about Bucks, which I thought there was a rift. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. You'll have to listen and find out. Then eventually getting to the Blues. And maybe one of the highlights of this first episode is his comments and thoughts on Mick Malthouse.
If the prerequisite is to bellyache, scream, yell and carry on, if that's the prerequisite, I'll have our blokes do it every time.
I don't know if he's said much about Mick Malthouse in the media before. His thoughts on Mick Malthouse are very, very surprising. Well, not so much surprising, but him having the freedom now to actually voice his concern or voice his opinions on Mick during his time at the Pies, and certainly in episode 2 at his time at the Blues, blew my hat off. So certainly stay tuned for that. He's really honest, which is really refreshing, as I said. He's an absolute great bloke, and as I said, please support his business, SO Premium Signage. That's something that I'm not going to go overboard on the show, but it is just a nice little thank you to these guys that have transitioned from entertainment career or a sports career, that I can try and give them a little bit of a thanks in promoting their business. So if you do need any signage or promotional items, please get in contact with Heath. Tell him that Pearcey, you heard him on Pearcey Presents. It's always a bit of good recognition for the show. SOPremiumSignage.com, Instagram, SO Premium Signage, and on Facebook at SOPremiumSignage.com.au. Again, I really hope you look forward to the show. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pearcey Presents and Snapchat. And don't forget to share the link to the shows and get your friends to have a listen. And subscribe and give it a 5-star rating and enter the competition. Thanks so much, and sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Okay, so we are here with Heath Scotland, AFL footballer at the highest level, representing at the elite level Carlton and Collingwood football clubs over a 16-year journey. He's played football for many years, starting at the Darley Football Club, moving on to the Ridley District Football League, playing for the Western Jets in the TAC Cup, the Vic Metro Under-18s, then being picked up by the Mighty Pies, pick number 44 overall in the 1998 draft. He's become a successful entrepreneur recently. It is his pleasure to welcome Mr. Heath Scotland. Welcome, Heath.
Thanks, Pearcey.
So it's a real pleasure to have you on, mate. We're here on Lygon Street today. Obviously, your life has been a full and exciting one. You grew up in Darley, which is obviously a world away from Lygon Street, where we are today.
Certainly. Darley up and back of Smash. Spent most of my childhood up there. Played footy, went to school. Town I was lived in was a town called Blackwood, where my mother lived, and my dad in Sunshine. So I spent most of my childhood between both. So I did get the little bit of the city in Sunshine, but the western side, and then up to the bush for most of the time. So yeah, Lygon Street certainly is a fair bit different than both of those areas, but I enjoy being here.
And you would have spent a bit of time here when you were playing for the Blues, I take it?
Yeah, certainly. Definitely come down here for a nice meal, and I got my first foray into coffee. Actually, a good friend of mine, Andrew DiMattina, with his restaurant just up the road. Yeah. When I was at Collingwood, we used to come here Wednesday nights after training as a group of players, and we'd have a feed together. And that's where I first started trying to taste coffee and drinking coffee. Now I'm probably going off about 6 a day. So how things change.
Keep going. What was your drink of choice before coffee?
Water, soft drink, whatever. Yeah,
all the healthy stuff.
I didn't. I certainly didn't really like coffee the first time, but I've grown accustomed to it.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of it. I don't know why. It's something that probably dangerous for me. I like soft drinks, so as you can tell. So I stopped it for a while. Hasn't been great for me in a soft drink at the moment. Never got into coffee. Don't mind tea. No. Green tea's okay. So one day maybe I'll be like you, mate, and get an acquired taste of coffee.
Yes.
Well, hopefully I will be off 6. So that's my problem. I'll be off 6 or 10 a day, and I'll be buzzing off the roof. So start back at the start of your sporting life, so to speak. You started at Darley. When did you start playing? Was that like junior footy? Did you start at I know it's Auskick these days, but it used to be like when I played Vic Kick.
Yeah, no, there was Vic Kick, but I don't think it really was up that region at that stage. Certainly didn't do Vic Kick. My first introduction into football was through my brothers, my father, my stepdad, all were involved playing football. So, from earliest of memories, I was at the football watching them play. So,
okay.
I enjoyed the game, started to love it, I suppose, and then ended up having my first game of football under 9s actually at a club called Braybrook where my dad was involved in, and played a handful of games there. And then my first full season was at Darley in under 10. So, been in love with the game for many years.
And were you always a bit of a standout, or? Don't be modest, mate.
No. Look, I wouldn't say I was, the best player myself. I was always probably quite good. I was always in the top couple in my age group, but by no means was I by far the best player in my teams. A couple of my good mates, we always have a laugh about I used to run second him in the best and fairest every year. It was for me football. My probably ability increased, and I got improvement in my game just over the years through my dedication, passion for the game. I always had a football in my hand. And I loved footy. My idol was Dougie Hawkins, and fortunately we were family friends with him, so I got to see him quite a lot, and that only just stoked the fire even more. I was a passionate Bulldog supporter as a kid, so I just love footy. So I was always had one in my hand, always training, always playing. So I probably just naturally improved through the years because of that.
And do you think that's something that's missing these days with kids? Because I've talked to a few people about this, and I miss the days where you used to, and obviously I wasn't driving when I was young, that'd be a bit weird, but I used to love kicking the footy at the front of the house. And playing cricket in the summer. You don't see that these days. You see the occasional people play basketball, which I can understand with the NBA growth and stuff like that. But you don't see, thanks mate, but you don't see, you don't have to worry about stopping every 5 minutes because there's kids kicking the footy. Do you think that's something that's lost? But saying that, the skills of the game, obviously now it's full time, are so much better. So is there a correlation between that? I'm kind of contradicting myself, I know, but...
Yeah, I suppose my take on it is, first of all, I think it is missing in the younger kids a bit more, just due to their options. As a kid, I didn't have many options of things to do. It wasn't like, I didn't live in the city. Often I might have been in sunshine every second weekend visit my dad, but we were at football Saturdays. Yeah, I'd see him on a Friday night, and then bit of family time with him on Sunday, and then go home. My week up at Blackwood, a small country town with 100 odd people living there. Right on the edge of the forest, there wasn't a whole heap to do, but maybe exploring the forest as a kid and build cubby houses. Kick a footy. At school, my mates were all into football, or sports, so we were always playing football. So, for me, it wasn't a whole heap of options and nothing that really stimulated myself to do anything else. So I was football, and most of my friends were up in the country. And wasn't too much else to do. So the kids nowadays, I think, have so many options of things to do. You look at phones and iPads and video games and toys. There's a whole range of different stuff to do. Then you go out and there's play centres, and there's just so much variety now that they've got choices, and they probably don't hone in on the one type of skill, which for me was football. So their early years, they probably don't naturally pick up that skill level. But then the flip side is, you're saying the skill level of the kids coming in nowadays is so far superior, and I agree. I think every generation are getting better because the coaching is getting better. Yes. The kids that are identified as as being more elite, I suppose, their training's more purposeful. They're learning more specific stuff than probably what we did from my generation and maybe the generation before. So, like I said, the coaching's probably more accurate in terms of honing in on their skill development and things like that. So that's why their skill level is at a level. They're putting hours into that skill at a teenage years, I suppose, where we mightn't have as much at our age and the years before, but it was probably more growing through just kicking the footy with your mates.
Exactly. And do you think that the sports science in this day and age, maybe towards the end of your time, has gone a little bit too extreme to the point where you can only have 50 kicks in a training session, where we used to, and I never played at any high level, but you used to stay after training and for half an hour, 45 minutes, have ping shots for the boundary from 50. But these days, they're that monitored, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I think there's, I probably should mention this first. I think there's a spot for it, and it's certainly important for a game with the improvement. But I certainly feel that sometimes it's over overcompensating for the sports science, and we're too careful about what players are doing. The body's. I'm a big believer on how strong the human body is and what you can put yourself through. And for me, a lot of my training was built off repetition, and I trained a lot. I always kicked football, even as a junior, adolescent years. I was training 5 to 6 days a week. I'd be at my local footy club 2 nights. I'd be at the Western Jets 2 nights. I'd be training the off night on my stepdad's side when he was coaching with the seniors there. I'd run the boundary on a Saturday for my brother's team. I'd play on a Sunday. I got through no dramas. I was tired at times, but I think probably what they did was prepare me for them becoming an elite athlete. Now kids are breaking down, they're monitored too much, you can't push them too hard. Now I understand you can't push them too much, but I think there's a fine balance, and the individual knows that. Like as a player, as an elite athlete, I always argued the point with sports scientists that I know my body better than they do, so I know what I was capable of getting through and what I wouldn't. So provided they got the right mental approach and players aren't taking liberties, I think you know yourself what you can push yourself through. So sports scientists can sometimes, I believe, can be too much on that. How many kicks? A player will know if he's a bit tight and sore, if he's honest with himself and the coaches. And certainly from a skill development side of things, what everyone talks about, goal kicking. If you're getting 20 shots on goal as opposed to probably Tony Lockett, who might have had 200 a night, like it's any wonder that they were experts in their craft.
Exactly, and they wouldn't miss. But compared to today, and that's the one thing, I know everyone talks about it, that the one skill that doesn't improve is goal kicking. And I know that Dixon's been employed by, I think it's Essendon, and he's got his own business in football development.
Stars or whatever.
That's right. Yep. And I think that that's going to be the next phase of AFL or AFL team development, is having someone. I don't know, Collingwood and most clubs have had someone part-time, but it's a battle between that person and a sports scientist. Like Sav Rocker did it.
Sav was successful with Levi.
That's right.
Then they didn't renew his contract for a year, and Levi's accuracy went down. He's back there again doing good things. So look, there is. Look, I think with all of that, like I said, there's a place for sports scientists. I think it's that balance of understanding how it all works together. And unfortunately, in a professional environment of AFL football, there's so many different components all fighting for that limited time. And on top of that, now players are expected to have time off away from the club as well. So coaches and football clubs are really, I think, struggling to maximise the time with every different department in every different area. And unfortunately, the byproduct of that is you have some areas that probably get neglected a little bit based on the importance at the time felt by the coaches. And goal kicking can be one. I'm not saying all clubs are like this, or even Carlton by any stretch of imagination, but goal kicking can probably fall in that category. Sometimes the same when we train, we kick the footballs a lot. They've done enough, maximise the time, let's get out and get up. And that's maybe a skill that gets left behind sometimes because of that.
And as a Joe Blow supporter for a long time, to me that just sounds really counterintuitive, because to win a game you need to kick goals. You spend so much time getting the ball down there, and then you waste a chance. So, I completely understand where you're coming from.
From that, and focusing only on that, and I was never a forward, so it's probably a bit out of my depth to be talking about. But certainly, in terms of developing that skill, this is where I get back to. There's nothing wrong with the player going, well, I've got my time of training to do X, Y, and Z, but taking it on their own to go out and improve their skill level by taking football, whether they're at home and they've got a park and I'm just going to go and have a kick at the footy and have 20 shots on goal. They're the differences when we talk about when you're a kid, you used to go and do. You'd go down the oval and kick the footy. You'd have 30 shots on goal, practicing different things, because you didn't really have much else option. Now, kids don't do that because they've got another option, or players think, well, this is my time away from football. I might just use it in developing skills outside of the game or rest. So, but there's nothing wrong with them.
Which is all important. So, absolutely.
The onus is on the individual
to do it. Yeah, and I remember hearing a story from Brendan Favola that he took a bag of footies out after training. I'm not quite sure. Did you play with Brendan?
Yeah, I played, 5-6 years.
True.
And under 18s, we played Teal Cup together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's when I first met.
So I heard a story that after a particular training, I don't know how often he did it, but he took a bag of footies, went down to literally his local park and just had shots at goal. Yeah. And that's probably the difference between being a good player and and being a superstar at a particular skill. Like, he was a great kicker goal, and not just saying off those one or two sessions of kicking goal, but that's obviously the dedication at his craft because he was a goal kicker.
And I put it down to anything in life. People that are good at things, generally they've got a level of talent naturally, but it's through their work. I'm a big believer in the harder you work, the luckier you get. And by people in general who are successful in their field have worked hard at it.
Absolutely. Nothing comes easy, does it?
That's right.
So moving on from Darley, you were at how long were you at the Ridley District Football League?
Riddle.
Riddle.
No, yeah, Riddle. Riddle was the lead that governed our junior side. So I was there from under 10s through to under 16s. At that stage, Darley, in 97, as a club, they transferred from the Riddle District Football League to the Ballarat Football League.
Yes.
And at that stage too, I was 16. I was down at the Western Jets, but I got my first taste of senior football. So when I was playing back at Darley as a 17-year-old, 16 turning 17, first year under 18s, I was fortunate enough that the senior coach there didn't see value in me playing under 18 football, so I played that year in the seniors in the Ballarat Football League. So that was probably, for me, one of the significant, I suppose, periods of my life that probably fast-tracked my football ability and improvement to eventually end up making AFL. I was playing OK football at Western Jets. I played a couple of games that year, but I was by no means as a regular as a bottom age player. Okay. 4 or 5 games I think I played, and I was just making up numbers. I'd been cut actually from the Western Jets twice, and forced my way back. One of them on my own volition, the other one by the coaches invited me back. But I'd had setbacks through that period. Just stayed pretty hungry with it, and then that year as a 17-year-old, turning 17, the coach played me. I was used to playing against men. By the time I went back to the Western Jets as an 18-year-old, I was used to playing against men, and confidence grew, and I had a pretty good year, which enabled me to get drafted.
You obviously got cut twice. You said that your own volition.
Well, I sort of laughed at by one of the coaches now, but I was just under 16s, and I didn't make the squad, and Western Jets, and they said, look, hey, you didn't make it, see you later, and it was a Friday, and I was extremely disappointed and upset. And I thought, and I remember talking to my family about it. And I think the stepdad said, well, why don't you just go to train on Monday, see what they say? And I thought, well, I was confident I could make the side. And then, as a 16, I went back on the Monday, and I made I went to training, and apparently, the story goes, the coach was going, well, what's Heath doing here? And no one said anything. I said, obviously, they're too not scared, but they just sort of maybe didn't want to embarrass me by saying he didn't make it, so let me train out the night. Then the Wednesday came up, and I was there again, and they were talking, going, well, geez, what's he doing? And apparently at the end of that training session, so if he turns up Friday, we're just going to have to be blunt with him. So you didn't make it, go. You're not here. And what ended up happening was on the Friday, I turned up to the training session, and they had a practice match in intra-club, and short on numbers, so they used me up and said, we need him to play. Played well, made the squad, so it was sort of, that could have been looked at as a turning point. Could have went back, I suppose, and never gone any further in my football, but I was pretty passionate about playing footy, and I was pretty dedicated, and my self-belief was pretty strong, so, that's how I ended up making that squad, and then, even as a under 18s, that following year, as I played the full year in the Western Jets, I made the Vic Metro squad and got cut from that. Fortunately enough, my form over the next 4 games were pretty good. Got invited back, played for Victoria that year, and Carnival was okay. But
you weren't picked though, but you just kept rocking up.
No, I didn't keep rocking up that one. But I was disappointed not to make the squad. But fortunately, I went back and worked hard, and my form at the Western Jets for the next 4 or 5 games was pretty strong. I got invited back and played a practice game, played well, and so made the final squad. We played the Carnival in Adelaide, and that's I was mates with Brendan Favola. That's where I formed the friendship with him. I did a couple of good things from all reports in that game. Speaking to recruiters after, which enabled me to get drafted. So it's funny how fate happens, and setbacks sometimes can be be motivating forces to drive you. And when you talk about me being a star player in my field, that's why I always refer to saying by far and away I was not. I always felt like I had to work pretty hard as a kid, and I had a level of ability, but it certainly was probably my dedication and commitment and determination that pushed me through some of them setbacks that eventually found my way to an AFL list.
Because otherwise, from what I can gather, is you obviously had a fair amount of skill, but if you decided that you couldn't be bothered that Monday night,
I had a lot of friends like that, and it would have been differently. Yeah, if I could have easily turned and said, "Well, I didn't make it, go back," and that was the end of it. So I was always determined and motivated to, and I believe that I could play. So
that's a great story.
I pushed hard for it. Even skill, I suppose I've always been confident in my kicking ability, and it's probably something that most people say that I'm reasonably good at.
Yeah, definitely.
But that was repetition from my end. I was never a natural good kick. I kicked the football a hell of a lot as a kid, and my left foot was a strength of mine, being able to use the opposite, like my good foot, but that came through kicking on it nearly more than I did my good foot. So,
yes.
Again, I don't think any talent's really born. You got to work for it, and I feel like I did through my career, and that's probably something when you finish your playing career, that you look back with satisfaction, regardless of whether your premierships or whatever you achieved. You can feel, I can feel
vindicated.
Yeah, that's the word, vindicated, or complete, that I achieved something through effort and hard work.
And is that something that you're taking into, which we'll cover in a lot more detail shortly, but that hard work and that passion you are taking into SO Platinum signage?
Premium signage,
Sorry,
yes.
Premium signage?
Yeah, certainly. So, look, I'm a big believer in passion. I'm a passionate man. That's what's enabled me to succeed in some things, and certainly been my downfall at times, in serious events in my life that mightn't have been positive. But I'm a passionate person. I believe passion drives you. You were speaking earlier about your passion for what you're doing here, and I think passionate people, there's no other outcome but to succeed. If you're passionate about something, it drives you, pushes you through the hard times. And certainly from a football aspect, I was always passionate, and I adopt that through everything in life, relationships, work, whatever it might be. I think if you're not passionate, why do it? So if it doesn't motivate you to get out of bed, you're just clocking in and clocking out, and you're counting down the days. Your life's too short.
Exactly my thoughts.
So certainly it's something I adopt with all parts of my life.
We'll cover off Collingwood and Carlton shortly, but back full circle to Darley. You're been the coach there last year. Was that your first year there? How have you found going back to local footy, which I personally commend you, which is fantastic. You've gone back to your home club.
Yes.
Being in the lead environment for 16 plus years, going back to home, back to where you basically, your love of the game was fostered. You obviously welcome back with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
How has that transition gone?
To be honest, last year was probably one of the most rewarding periods in my life, to be honest, from a football aspect. I've been fortunate enough to achieve what I wanted to in a professional, bar a premiership, obviously a professional environment in a sport, an area I loved. I've been playing AFL for as long as I did, but to go back to a club that I grew up in, always had strong connections with. I'd like to think of myself as being reasonably grounded, and if I wasn't, close friends would have made me aware of that.
Yes.
So I was always back watching Darley games. My best mates, the groomsmen, were my mates from school. I've got good mates in football, but certainly, the people I grew up with, I tried to maintain strong relationships through my football career and didn't forget where I came from.
That's awesome.
So going back there, it was a fit. The coach previously, Jared Edwards, brother Jake, I played with at Carlton. It was fantastic at that football club. Got them to and won their first premiership in the Ballarat League in 2015, and then stood down 3/4 of the way through. Coach at the year, but sort of said he wasn't going to coach again for 2017 during the back end of 2016. So I'd spoken to Darley. At that stage, I was playing football with Ben Johnson, a good friend of mine out at Doncaster.
Yes.
So I was playing local football. I had 2 years out at Doncaster, which I enjoyed, but really seen a great opportunity for me emotionally, mentally, to go back to a club I love, through people I know, and coach. I'm passionate about football, so I really was keen to coach. And then to be involved last year, like I said, was really rewarding. I was able to coach what I believe in football, see improvement, and eventually the outcome of a senior premiership and our reserves winning a premiership as well. And there's a period after we won the flag, and I was I'm an intense type of person when it comes to football, and even up in the last couple of minutes, we're up by 50 odd points, but the last couple of minutes I was still intense, wanting to win for everybody, not for me.
No.
And there was a period where we won the siren went, and everyone's out in the field and celebrating with their families. And I really had to take a step back and soak it all in. And that probably 2-minute period was, like I said, one of the most rewarding periods of football, because I was able to sit back and look at some of these people that I've known for 20 years, just the joy on all their faces. Personally, like I said, really high in a football career. That I'm fortunate enough to say I've had some great highs, but that's as equal to any. Yeah.
That's unreal. And I believe that from a coaching perspective, that it's those couple of minutes after the game that are the best as a coach. As you said, you've taken a step back, which I think is a real sign of maturity. That was your first year coaching, is that correct?
Yep.
That you were able to emotionally and in a coaching aspect be able to step back and go, just take it all in, see your mates that you've known for 20 years, the old lady that's been supporting for the last 50 years, the young kids that are sons and daughters of the new players, the wives, mums. You've just stepped back instead of running out. Not saying you would take the glory, but step back and just soak it in. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. That's unreal.
I know I think all footy clubs, particularly local football clubs, are really tight knit. But I've always preached the uniqueness of a Darley Football Club. It's born off families that have been there for years, and it's nearly ancestral how related everybody is in the football club. Yeah, and I've known a lot of them or their families for my lifetime since I was 10. So, to sit back and see the joy on a lot of people's faces. Yeah, it was really rewarding. And Blake's, one of my close friends played in his first flag there ever, and it was his last game of football. So, like I said, as a coach, to see people that you're teaching achieve something is extremely rewarding. As a player, you're extremely selfish, and make no bones about it. In an AFL environment, even though you're a team first and you play for your club, you have to have an element of selfishness to succeed. It's elite sport where everybody's fighting for that top spot.
You're a number on a list.
You are. Now you've got to find that right balance to make it all work, and I certainly think that the better players to have at AFL level still have a team, more team focused than individual, but they are still selfish in their approach to get the best out of themselves. But as a coach, you're teaching people, so it's more about giving than individual, and to see, each coach will be different. My beliefs will be different than next coach, but seeing players believe in what you believe in, then apply what you're asking them to apply, and then achieve something. It's selfishly, it's stimulating for me. It's an extremely rewarding job, but it's certainly, it involves everybody.
That's great. Selfishness, is that something that you ever struggled with during your time?
In terms of?
The team and individual...
Oh, look, no. You understand the environment. And like I said, as a young player, so just probably to narrow it down a bit more clearly, you get drafted to a football club and you've got named to play a game. Play that game, you've got named to play this season. You play that season, you've got named to play to be a regular player permanently, and then to be the best player. There's elements of I wouldn't say selfishness, but individualism that you need to achieve this. But you've got to find the right balance to be able to push yourself personally and achieve what you want to personally in that environment where it's team first. And your best mate, you might be fighting for the same position. Now, you don't do anything to demoralise his chances or make it harder for him. But you work off with each other to push each other to get the best, and hopefully that you can be better than him. And you've got to have that belief in yourself.
And that raises the team.
And some will go too far and it's all about them. But I think in a football club environment, it stands out like a sore thumb. Like it's you can know you can pick them, and you can see it, and you can see the way they are, and you can see players who are thinking about themselves, and it's represented in the way they play their football, as opposed to when they're team first. Did I struggle with it? No, certainly I was. I'd use the word selfish at times to try to push myself to get ahead, but I always felt like I had the team first approach. It was balanced by team first. I'd never put myself above the team, and values and expectations within a good team demand that. Where I think I was selfish in my football career is from a personal and family position. So, my wife's been with them since I was drafted. I've got 3 kids. Football was always first. Now, it wasn't. Family would always be first. But to succeed, they had to form into my lifestyle. If we had training in, I have to be there. If I have to eat this, I have to eat it. It was all, your family lifestyle was all secondary to being successful in football. So if there's a selfish part of my career, it's from a family perspective, putting myself first or a football club first. But you sort of have to do that.
Absolutely.
And they were understanding, particularly my wife, understanding enough to realise and supportive that this was my ambition, my dream, my goal, my focus. That they would adopt any sort of means necessary to help me succeed in that. Now you transform out of football, you realise how that little bubble you're in, how selfish it really is, and how much more how much your family might have sacrificed to enable you to succeed. And it's nice now to be able to balance life and give family first as opposed to football first.
That's beautiful. Now, something that you just said a couple of sentences ago about there were certain players.
Yep.
There was a potential rift off from memory. I'm a big Collingwood supporter.
Yes.
You obviously got traded to Carlton. Yep. Last game, I can't believe, was the 2003 grand final.
That's correct.
The year before, I was in the Herald Sun, page 2, in tears. I was very drunk, but there was a big picture of me in a poncho. That's another story for another day. But I believe there was some angst between you and Bucks.
No, not at all. That's not even close to being
media blowout.
No issue between me and Bucks. Look, to be honest, and I'll be open here. My issue with Collingwood was Mick Malthouse. So for me, and without boring you, it can be long-winded, but I'll give you a bit of a snapshot of my perception, my time at Collingwood. So I was fortunate enough to get drafted. Tony Shaw was my first coach.
Yes.
And I played 12 games under Shawry, and first to admit, I think we were a bottom side, and I got gifted a few games as a young kid to get some experience. They seen some ability in me, and I got no doubt. Look, a couple of games I probably earned, and a few I got gifted as a young guy. And I feel karma got me in the end because my first year under Mick, then I played 10 games, trying to fight my way under a new coach. A young player, still happy with the outcome in terms of played 10 games and wanted to build on it. 2001 was probably the first sign things weren't going well. I played round 1. Didn't get a game again till round 22. Through that season, I was playing reserves. Form was really strong. I ended up winning the Collingwood Reserves Best and Fairest that year, and I was averaging a lot of footy and felt like I was doing things well enough to get a game. Long story short, I didn't. I was sort of struggling with playing the twos all year, wondering where I was at with my footy.
Of course.
Relationship was, I wouldn't say fractured, but I knew I wasn't in Mick's
Best
eyes.
20, yeah.
Round 21 though, which I felt was a bit of a kick in the guts. Round 21, we were playing Carlton actually. If we won the game, we would have made finals. If we lost, we couldn't make finals, and we lost. And then round 22 was a dead rubber game.
Yes.
And then I got picked for the round 22 game. I was like, we'll give him a game, which is no dramas because it ended up being the blessing to me because round 22 we played Kangaroos up in Canberra.
Yes.
And that's how Dennis Pagan first seen me, and that's what eventually ended up getting me to Carlton. I had a good game. I think I had about 28 touches and come off the bench and impacted the game well and thought, okay, Coach Mick was happy about the game. Thought, all right, things pretty sour. I'll try and look for a trade and tried to get a trade to North Melbourne. Dennis was keen on me, and what had ended up happening was I'd spoken to manager or whatever, and I was meeting Dennis on Tuesday. And on the Monday, I thought I'll do the right thing and tell Collingwood I'm meeting with another coach, and if things go well, I'll wouldn't mind getting a trade. What ended up happening was, they said, yep, no worries, we'll, if things work out, we'll certainly help you out. You're not getting an opportunity here, blah, blah, blah. On the Tuesday, I went and met Dennis and had a good chat with him, and he said, yep, interested in your son, good to get you to North Melbourne, and I'm keen on you. And then it all went well. I thought, beautiful, I'm going to go to North Melbourne. At the very end of the conversation, he said to me, whatever you do, don't tell Collingwood you've spoken to me.
Oh.
And stupidly, and naively, I thought, I won't tell him I already told Collingwood this. And obviously Collingwood was my club, so I was doing the right thing by Collingwood. I was certainly not going to do anything shady behind their back. I'd be transparent. But I didn't tell Dennis, I wasn't transparent telling Dennis that. So the Wednesday, Collingwood and North Melbourne had met. One of the first things apparently Collingwood had done had come into the meeting and said, so you're interested in Heath Scotland? Dennis, right, well, I remember getting a phone call that afternoon from Dennis. Told you not to say anything, blowing your chances, bad luck. And it was pretty much as blunt as that. I went, oh, shit.
No.
And look, I thought, okay, no worries. It is what it is. I nearly went to Fremantle. The manager was telling me, I remember being in the office with the manager, he was ringing around clubs and no one was interested. In one stage he said, Fremantle, look at you. I was on the last day, they'll look at you, they don't know much about you, but they might take you for on base wages, and so there we go. As luck turned out, I think the paperwork didn't go through, or it was botched somehow, and I was stuck.
Fax machine got stuck or something.
Stuck at Collingwood, missed the deadline, and I was fine with that. I went and sat down with the club and said, look, this is where I'm at. I'd like to make it work. I'm here now. I hope things will turn around. So there we go. Had a big pre-season, and to their defence, it was Neil Barmore speaking to me. I said, no worries, we understand it's footy, and work hard, we'll be right, and we'll see what happens. And I ended up playing 2002, and I had that period of time was my best year to date. I played 19 games, including the final series, and that final series from memory, the first final I played was against Port, and had a shocker, had a real bad game, and I thought I was going to get dropped for the prelim, because Bucks was out and coming back in. Fortunately, I ended up holding the spot, and had a good prelim and played the grand final, which we lost, obviously, and I thought things had turned around. Going into 2003, I thought, okay, beautiful, try and build on last year and try to, sign a 2-year deal, 2003 and 4 for Collingwood. As it panned out, I played one game, got dropped for a couple, played a couple more, got dropped for a few, didn't get a look in for about 10 or 12 weeks. Through that period, we had Brad Gotch, Dean Laidley, and Michael Broadbridge as our 3 rotating assistants. And they were the reserves coach at Williamstown. Okay. And the time for me where I knew I was playing well in 2s again, not getting a game, not getting a look in, and every week you do what you do, go to the coach, say, what do I need to do to get a game? What can I work on? And every week they'd say, kick more goals, lay more tackles, contested ball, ballot, whatever it was. There was a part of the game they wanted me to focus on. And there was a defining moment for me around about round 17 or 18. I hadn't played for a lot of time, and like I said, my form was good. I knew I was playing good football. I remember saying to Michael Broadbridge over at Williamstown, I said, look, Broady, what do I need to do to get a game this week? And which was so refreshing, and another reason why I think twist of fate, my career ended up where it did. He turned to me bluntly and said, look, I won't lie to you, Scotto. He goes, every week I come out to you and you ask me what to do, I tell you something to do, you've been doing it. He goes, to be honest, the last 5 or 6 weeks we've just been making it up to keep you focused. He goes, every week we go into match committee, so you've got to play Scotto, we vote for you, Mick says no. And that was his words to me, and I was dirty. I ended up leaving Williamstown at night thinking, fuck football, and I'm over it. But what it was like, well, okay, what it said to me was, what's good enough? I am good enough. People do believe me, but it's not working here. I left that night, I spoke to my manager, Paul Connors, and I said, trade me at the end of the year. He goes, well, your contract. I said, well, I don't care, find a trade. Yeah. I'm out of here. And he said, what if you playing a premiership? I said, I don't care if I'm winning the Norm Smith, I'm out. Like, I believe my number's stamped here, my papers are stamped, my number's up. I'm 5 years at this club, I haven't really made it work. I played 50 odd games. I need to find another club. Luck has it, the next week I end up finding myself in the seniors. Had a good game, played out the rest of the season, including the finals in the GF. What sort of missed along there too was the games I did play. There was no sub rule. Interchange wasn't like it was now. No. So you'd come on for a quarter and a half. I'd find myself on the bench the games I did play. I'd play maybe a half a quarter and a half. And that was always towards the back end of the game. And or it'd be on a 5 minutes in the first half, and so you knew I wasn't part of the initial makeup. At that stage, in 2003, there was word Nick Stevens was coming to Collingwood.
That's right, yes.
So I was going to be further down the pecking order. So, we ended up facilitating the trade. I walked into the Victoria Park, the gym room there, had a meeting with Neil Balme, and I'll never forget it. Sat in the weights room to speak to him about facilitating a trade. And the players had gone or were about to go overseas to play an exhibition game in London. Mm-hmm. I remember speaking to Barmy, and I just got all emotional, started blubbering like a little baby. And he goes, "What are you crying for?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "I don't want to leave here. So I love the players, I love the club, but I know I need to go for an opportunity for me. I know it's not going to happen here under Mick." And I never forget, he just looked at me and said, "Look, I agree completely, Heath. You've been good to us. I had my issues at times, but as a player," he goes, "Look, we can see where it's at." And he goes, "We'll do everything we can. Greg Swan and Neil Balme, we'll do everything we can to help you with the trade." As it was, Mick didn't want me to go. He said, "No," and I knew I was part of Mick's backup. I was a good 23rd, 24th, 25th player.
But you didn't want to agree with that, which is fair enough.
No, I wanted more for myself. So, look, I took the punt to Collingwood's, and Collingwood copped a little bit of flak over this, but what you always respect out of them, like they knew I wasn't getting the opportunity and I wouldn't further under Mick, so they enabled me to get a trade, which was picked 35 to Carlton, and the rest is history. So, that's sort of how I exited Collingwood in a real brief snapshot. Obviously, there was circumstances and relationships. I thought off field, relationship with Mick was pretty good, but in a nutshell, I just wasn't in his makeup. And as it panned out, I still believe that, because by the time I get to Carlton, I pretty much finished my career there too. So that's footy. I don't hold that personally. I'm disappointed. I would have loved to have played for him, particularly at Collingwood. I don't believe he was the same coach at Carlton. He was a more selfish coach by the time he got to Carlton. Okay. But he was a fantastic coach in that period at Collingwood, and all I wanted to do was play for him, to be honest, play with my mates there. But I wasn't part of that makeup, and it's funny how you can turn a negative into a positive, because I ended up coming to Carlton, playing all that time, and I love the footy club. It's my club.
200 games.
We didn't have the ultimate success, and we were in part of that. My period there was probably looked at as part of the leanest period in Carlton's history, but couldn't have asked for more. I come to a great club. I got an opportunity to showcase what I could do, and was fortunate enough then to be able to do it. So, finish happy with the career.
Sorry for the break in transmission. Being on Lygon Street and Heath being a very popular man, we did see one of his mates, Lou, who stopped by and had a quick chat. So that's why there was a bit of a break in, as I said, transmission. So I do apologise, but we continue now. Mick Malthouse wasn't your biggest fan footy-wise. You spent a couple of years under him at Collingwood, and then the tail end at Carlton. You did mention that he was more selfish at Carlton. I felt that. Look, in terms of wasn't my biggest fan. I can't speak for Mick. I just felt like our professional relationship in terms of player-coach. I think it's simple as, obviously he didn't see me what other coaches did, or I wasn't in his balance or makeup of side. So certainly that's why I left Collingwood. Played in 2 grand finals. People can think that's a weird decision to want to leave after playing in 2 consecutive grand finals, but it was the build-up of a lot of different things over a long period of time, and I knew where it was at moving forward. So by the time I got to Carlton, he got to Carlton, I was 12 months. I'd won the best and fairest in 2012. I wasn't sure if I was going to have a contract going in 2013, funny enough. Ratton had left. I hadn't sat down with Mick. Mick then, I sat down with him, and I remember speaking to my manager early days, and they go, "We're not sure. We haven't sat with Mick, and we don't know where it's at." And I'm thinking, geez, that's pretty weird. But anyway, I signed a contract, and I thought things were going well the first year. I had what ended up sort of ultimately finished my career was a degenerative tendon in my ankle, which I had surgery. So our first pre-season, we went to Arizona. Of course, yes. And, I think walking up the hills a lot. I don't know if that was the age, what it was, but I came back late December, January when I was back into it. I started having issues with my ankle. Had surgery that period of time, and worked pretty hard to get up and going again for the pre-season. Got back in time for round 1. From memory, I had to serve the couple of games suspension for an off-field incident, and then I got back and I thought, okay, I'm a senior player. I've proved my worth here, and Mick might have a different opinion of me now.
And I had I reckon a down year based on the year before, obviously, but I thought it was still a solid year. Yeah, and I thought the relationship was pretty good with Mick, to be honest.
Right.
I thought it had changed a bit. When Mick had got there, he made a couple of comments I won't mention about sort of his past, Collingwood and situation with, say, where Collingwood were at with their win-loss, and a couple of things maybe directed at Bucks where I felt he was probably more, he gave me the impression he was more worried about proving a point to them and was coaching for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
Yeah, I've certainly seen, and I'm big on making the point, the relationships he had with blokes like Eddie Betts. People think Eddie Betts left for money, but I was there the whole time witnessing how he was treated, and he didn't want to leave. They bullied him into trying to stay, and in the end it backfired. And he did the right thing for himself and his family. He was willing to take a significant haircut to stay at Carlton, but they didn't want to come close to that the year term. So in the end, the hand was forced, and then Mick came out and blamed Eddie for taking money and leaving, which was just a throw off, which annoyed me. Jared Waite was banished to the twos, and when I retired in 2014, I was part in the twos. I'll never forget the coaches coming out saying Jared's going to be with us for the rest of the year. And I said, what do you mean? They go, well, Mick's off him, he's done. And then they found out he had a bit of currency and tried to win him back late, and the damage was done. And then when he leaves, everyone thinks he just left as a mercenary. But people don't understand sometimes the inner workings of what happened. And to go back to my relationship with Mick, by the time, so how my career finished, obviously struggled with that ankle a little bit first. She went surgery again the following year, going into 2014. But I knew getting the ankle right, I'd be fine. I wasn't able to train properly, but still have a solid year through 2013. 2014 come, and again I had surgery, and I was able to only train 1 day a week. I'd train on a Wednesday. I'd spend the early part of the week getting the ankle right, train on the Wednesday, then I'd have to get it up and going. I had my pre-season to get up to a speed of and level of fitness, which was sufficient.
Yes.
I played one of the last NAB Cup games with JT games, whatever you want to call it, against the Bulldogs, and then without naming names, it's not their fault, but I was a good 3 or 4 weeks ahead of a couple of players who were sort of in the coach's eyes. And that one of them players had a similar injury to me, and I'll never forget. In running, I was sort of clearly beating him. His fitness changed to highlight his strengths, not his weaknesses. Then when we got to round one, Mick said, "You're not fit enough, Heath. I'm not going to pick you." But that player I was ahead of played. I'm like, well, writing's on the wall. Mind you, prior to that, I'd been delisted, then picked up as a nominated rookie.
That's right.
Which I was fine with. Could have got dirty with that after being at the club for so long, but
and winning best and fairest.
I was just happy. 12 months after winning best and fairest, I'd been delisted and rookie. But look, I didn't care. I was happy to take that on the chin. I just loved playing for the footy club. So a couple of little things were going on there that I thought, what is what it is. I don't want to, be negative in my last couple of years. Love the footy club. Just you can play, so be it. I went back to a base wage and little things like that, which were little kicks in the guts. But so be it. That's footy. I didn't get a game round one and played well in the twos, practice game, and then round two come along. I still didn't get a game. We'd lost both games, Carlton and seniors. Still didn't get a look in. Round three come along, didn't get a game again, and the form was in the twos. I was getting best on grounds or close to it. I was playing well, as well I would have been expected to at my age, and I suppose the form I'd shown. And then I remember, never forget, as a talking footy, I was watching it. I never really watched the talking footy, but I remember Gary Lyon just pasted the footy club and Mick. So what are you doing? You got a 34-year-old on the list. You've nominated him as a rookie. Yes. If you're going to have him there, why wouldn't you be playing? He's playing the twos. You've lost 3 games in a row, and what he's doing down there at Carlton. And I was sort of embarrassed about it a bit, but I got up. We came to train on the Tuesday, and Mick got me up in front of everyone and said, "Heath, stand up." He goes, "You've done enough. You're fit enough. You'll be in this week." And I just felt like it was a reaction to the media he was copying, and I was a little bit disappointed in it. But I was like, whatever. I'll go and play and give my best. And form was okay. I didn't average as much the ball as what I had been getting. Well, mind you, to Mick's defence too. Obviously, I did have this ankle injury, but I pushed myself mentally and physically through it. Where I knew my form was better than a lot of players. Yes, I was still capable. Came out and played the next 3 games. We lost to Melbourne the first game. I come back in. Then we played Bulldogs, West Coast Bulldogs, and then Collingwood. And Collingwood was my last game. We won. I think we beat West Coast and the Bulldogs from memory. Lost to Collingwood, which ended up being my last game. And I remember going in. I was named on the extended bench. Mick used to have a habit of naming 6 to 7 on the bench going into a game.
Yes.
You'd get notified on game day, sub or whatever. We were playing at Etihad Stadium against St Kilda on Friday night, and I rocked up expecting to play. And as I got there, Rob Wiley, the assistant coach, came up to me and said, "Look, Scotto, you didn't get the nod this week." And I said, "What?" He goes, "Oh, well, you haven't done anything wrong. We feel your form's been good enough, but there's just no matchup for you." And that was excuses I was hearing 10 years ago under Mick.
Yes.
You haven't done anything wrong, you're doing anything wrong, no matchups. And I just thought, geez, no disrespect to the players playing at Carlton, but I looked at my teammates, I knew I was, form was better, history said I was better, I was a better player than some of the players playing, and I just thought, look, the writing's on the wall. I left that game and I just thought, you know what, I didn't get, the pre-season had panned out where I'd been delisted and rookied, and, yes, I was building after surgery, but I was fit enough to play, and not just like I was fit enough to play, I was right to play, I was at 100%, I was good and going, ahead of other blokes getting a game, but wasn't getting the look in. Didn't get a game for 4 games due to fitness issues, which wasn't the case. There was just little things I felt were holding me back from my and it was obviously from mixed feeling as a coach, and he's got every right to be like that. Came in, played my part, by all means, wasn't at the standard I'd set the years earlier, but I felt like I was holding my spot. Mind you, I was playing as a half forward, which I'd never played as.
Before, yes.
Played for half forward for 2 of them games, 3 of them actually, and then look, I kicked goals. I felt like I was doing enough, but then to be told there wasn't a match up. I just thought, my number's stamped, and I didn't want to finish my career, bitter at the footy club. I made a decision, rather than, and continually fighting against my injury too. Like it was a big strain mentally to get myself up to train. Like what I had, the degenerative tendon, was the same thing that Dale Thomas had.
Yes.
Which cost him 3 or 4 years until he had stem cell injections. Now, note to that, I had stem cells after I finished, and my ankle was nearly back to, wish I'd had it instead of the surgeries. But I didn't. But anyway, that's a side note. But what I was getting at, I was fighting myself mentally and physically to get up to play. It was everything emotionally, mentally to do that.
Take a toll on your family.
And it was, and I was getting, obviously I knew I was getting older, and it would have been my last year anyway. I thought, well, rather than play through the year in and out and feel bitter, I'll just pull the pin now and succumb to the ankle as well. So that was, I made the decision to retire. Then went in and spoke to Greg Swan the following Monday, because we had the 3 days off. He said, "What, are you going to retire now?" I said, "Yep, I'm done." Just as quick as that. It was Tuesday, sorry, as quick as that. He said, "Come back at midday, we'll have a press conference," and done. That was the end of it.
They didn't try and talk you out of it?
No, look, that Swan was a bit surprised, but my mind was made up. I didn't want to be talked out. I knew where it was at, and that was how a career finished. I was a little bit disappointed it finished that way, but at the same time, you don't want to look at what you didn't get. I just look at what I was able to achieve, and without going into detail about comments, like I said, Mick made, there was just a lot of, I got the opinion, not a personal one, but the way Mick came to Carlton, some comments he made about his tenure there, the way he was, the way he approached it. He was certainly a different coach, I felt, and certainly was less. It was more about him and less about the Carlton Football Club. And that really frustrated me in the year I finished and the year after I retired, watching the way sort of he was and the way he portrayed himself representing their footy club. Become a bit of a farce about, it was all about him. And I for a man who preaches team, I found it extremely contradicting when it became about Mick Malthouse. And he was a fantastic coach, don't get me wrong. No. So I'm not bagging his coaching abilities. And at Collingwood, I'll put my hand up and say I felt he's a fantastic coach. I wanted to play for him. At Carlton, it was about Mick Malthouse. It wasn't about Carlton Football Club. He wasn't there for the long haul, and he made comments to me. He said, "I'll be there 3 years." And in fact, he was there 3 or 4.
And then he came in, he wasn't there for the draft, so he came in after because he had media commitments. So already from personal perspective, I'm like, well, you're not invested in it to put away your media commitments to be there for the draft.
Yep.
And then when he left, I think it was when he left, he called into SEN Morning Show.
Yeah.
And then he basically just slagged off the club.
And he did the same thing at Collingwood. Now, it's a shame for him. And look, he might call bullshit and he can refute anything I say. That's my opinion on what he was like and how it was. And, I'll stand by for anyone. Like I said, players that I class as mates and teammates, I watch their names and reputation get slandered by him. I watch their names and reputation get slandered by him because the way he treated them, but then reflected it publicly that it was about them. People still think Jared Waite was a mercenary, and by far he wasn't. He did not want he did not want to leave Carlton. And that the decision was made. He knew where his papers were stamped as well, like that. Yeah.
And he had him over, him and his wife had him over for tea. And then
Eddie Betts, Brock McLean, like you ask them personally about him, and they'll tell you where it's at. You ask people at Carlton, and they'll tell you what he was like there as a coach. I won't say publicly because people are too scared to do that, but I don't care. I've got nothing to lose. I'm not going to be held the ransom by him like when he was a coach. So I'm happy to speak publicly about what I felt was the case, because ultimately people could look at it and go, we're bitter because of the relationship with Mick, but it wasn't. I love the Carlton Footy Club, and I played for that. I felt like I gave everything for that club, and then to see a coach come in with such a high reputation, turn into a mockery and put the club back 4 years, I didn't like, and it did. He did. He got rid of good people, good players. There was support staff. Johan Billsborough, fantastic sports scientist, great bloke, dietitian for the club. Done, it was amazing. They said that he wasn't good enough, not up to it. Now he's over there working with Boston Sal, people like that. They gave their heart to the footy club, but then were just treated like a dirt, and I don't like that. So there's a lot of stuff I could open up about. I don't want this segment to be about and highlighted about Mick, but certainly
I don't think it's a character assassination. It was just him as a coach.
And look, at the end of the day, his nephew's marrying my sister-in-law, so
I can't get
away from him. So I'll have to bump into him time to time again, which is the irony. But and I am who I am, and I know what I went through with him. So I'm not bitter about anything, because I'm very content with my career, and I'm proud of what I was able to achieve. But I certainly am a realist in where things were, and time's not going. Time, heal words, but it's not going to make me forget or gloss over the reality of things which can be portrayed differently publicly.
Exactly, and your last few years at Carlton were a development time at Carlton, so that's where I find it will certainly hold you in a higher esteem, that you didn't let your attitude get the better of you, being bitter about being re-rookied, getting the shits.
Ultimately, it's funny. I remember having an argument, not an argument, but a debate with Brett Ratton, who, I really liked Brett as a coach. He had his flaws, but I thought he got the best out of his group, and had a good game plan that worked for us, and other areas of his coaching he can improve in, and I've got no doubt if he got another opportunity, he'd be fantastic.
Absolutely.
But the debate, what I'm getting at, the debate I had with him was, I remember him saying one time, perception is reality, Heath. People perceive you as reality. And I'm like, no, that's not. I was really strong on being, reality's reality. I don't care what people think about me, because I know who I am, I know what I'm about, and that's the reality. But there's an element of truth to that. And people's perception of you as a player, how you were at that footy club, is in their terms the reality, and other people's reality. So if it's a general perception from everybody that you are a certain player or a type of person, that in essence is a type of reality. So I know I'm sort of getting a bit all over.
No.
So going back to that, even though I knew what type of person, if I was bitter and people had a perception of me as finishing my career, frustrated, bitter, angry, I might publicly get out there and slag off the club or Mick or whatever, which I wouldn't do. That you can be perceived differently, and I feel that regardless of your ups and downs in your career, I'm proud of what I achieved, and I don't want to be remembered as being sooky or bitter, or and less externally, but even internally. I had young players looking at me. I've been there for 10, 11 years. I played for 16 years, and I might have played with them for 1 or 2 years, and they remember me as a player who was maybe selfish or a sook, or was about him and not the club. Now, it'd be very contradictory of me if I was to sit here and say I felt Mick was about him and not the Carlton Footy Club, but then I finished my career thinking about me and not the Carlton Football Club.
Yes.
So, it's sort of, that's just the way I wanted to be sort of remembered, I suppose. I felt like I played and left everything out in the field and gave everything I could. Whether it was good enough or not, other people will decide. But I'm content with what I had, so I don't want to leave a lasting impression of a bitter one.
From everything that I've seen, you were much loved at Collingwood and Carlton, even though you're only Collingwood for a short time. At Carlton, you were much loved. You did a lap of honour, and that was met with great reception. But I think that as long as you're comfortable in yourself, then that's really the only one that matters. And
look, 100%. As we alluded to prior to recording, by no stretch of the imagination was I ever an angel, and I had my off-field incidents, which are well publicised. But who I are, they're learning experiences for me. Would I change what I did? Some of them maybe, some of them no. Are they looked at the perception of me reality to what was reported about what happened? No, but that is their reality for what people believe. Do I care about that? No, because I know what happened. But at the same time, it's still when I talk about the reputation. I'd like people to know what happened, but that is what it is. So I want to make sure that people see who I am, and they're called to like me or not, up to them. When it comes to football, as I alluded to earlier, as I keep mentioning, I'm very passionate about, so it means a lot to me, particularly my teammates and my mates. You go to war with them every weekend, and you give everything you've got out there. You want them to have respect for you more than anything. Making it about you loses respect.
Absolutely. Now, you certainly don't have to allude into anything more about this, but regarding those previous indiscretions, is there anything major that you feel that's been misreported that you would like to correct, or you think we can just skip over that?
No, look, it's part of me. You're obviously doing a podcast on me, and there's no point shying away from your negatives and just highlighting your positives. That was part of my life. I wish it didn't happen, but look, to be brutally honest, what had happened, particularly the Moala one, I had a few little incidents, but that's probably the one that lingered and hurt me the most. I went up. I was up with family in Moala, which where my old man lives now, and with my older brother, my younger brother. We were having a drink, having a good time. And at one stage of the night, I look around, just to give you a snapshot of the incident. I'm not going to go into full detail, but I look around. I'm having a drink. My cousin was there, a few other locals I know, having a beer, and I look around. There's a dust up on the floor, and there's my brother on his back with three blokes wailing into him. My older brother. Now, what I did was went over and I got him out of it first, dragged him, and I was getting whacked from blokes in the fight because as I was going in, so I just dragged him off the ground, took him to the door. He's got a big gash in his head. He's my older brother. I idolised him, and he was emotional. Going off me, what happened there, Heath, blah, 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 and who are they, and whatever. And my younger brother's there who's got Asperger's, and he was bawling, and I obviously lost the plot myself. I looked at two of my brothers sitting there crying, and I'm sort of not caught in the middle, but beer affected by beer as well,
and your emotions are high.
I went in and said, look, I went to security. Said, look, we're going to get my shoes, which were ripped off as I was getting my brother out. And, I seen one of the blokes that were wailing to my brother. I walked up and whacked him. Now it was reported I kinned him. I didn't kinn him. Was he charged? He was charged. Wasn't reported to for his incident. He was one of three on top of my brother. Could I have handled it differently? Yes. Would I want my sons involved in anything like that? No. So there are elements which I regret, but I was reported, and I was slammed for a week about my involvement in that and what transpired, and labelled as kid, which I wasn't. But the thing that annoyed me was, I look back at it, and this is where it's a fine line. My brother's my brother, and I got the rest of my life around him, and I got my footy career, and I can look back and go, well, I shouldn't have done that. I should have left the venue, and we've gone home. But I got my brother sitting there begging me for help. He'd been wailed into by three blokes. I've got to look at him for the rest of my life. Yes. The moment that he needed my help, I can either help him. Now, I could have done things differently, yes, I understand that. But I can either help him, or I turn around and say, sorry, I play football. I can't get in trouble. And I'm going to live with that for the rest of my life. So I'm content. I don't care. People can call me what they like. That doesn't worry me. But my brother needed support. And I supported him the way that I felt at the time was right. Now, probably wasn't. Could have done it differently, but I'm content, and I paid the price for it. Okay, fine, that's me, and probably deserved it. No dramas, but I can feel comfortable. When my brother needed me, I was there for him, and so be it. My perception from other people, they can have what they like, and it's water off a duck's back for me. So that's the only thing I wanted to clear up. People can think and say what they like. That's what happened.
It's very easy. Split decision, heat of the moment, couple of drinks, your blood's boiling, everything's going at once. It's not like you could just sit back and go, well, I'm a football player, should I do this? It's so easy in hindsight, and that's what I love with people. And I'm not saying that hitting someone's the right thing to do, but what I'm saying is I love it where John and Mary at home just sit on their high horse and go, oh, well, I would have done it this way. No. Excuse my language. That you weren't in that position, and if that was your brother or sister,
and as I said before, I'm a passionate person, regardless of what it is. And, he's my older brother who I idolised my whole life. He's got gashed down his forehead, he's been smacked by bikes, and he's emotional, asking for my help. Yeah, look, I don't want to dwell on it because I don't want that to be, it stuck with me for a while. It will stick with me for a long time. It cost me work and whatever, but, like I said, I'm comfortable where it is. I don't think I'd change too much because maybe the way I went about it, but certainly I feel comfortable when my brother needed my help. I helped him. So be it. People can judge me for what they like, and that's the only thing I wanted to clear up. The rest of it, look, you are. Your lessons, what you do in life does define you, but you can either learn from it or you can keep making mistakes. I like to think that I've learned from. I've made plenty of blues in my life, but I like to think that as I get older, I'm learning from it and I'm becoming a better person. Who am I to judge other people, and who are they to judge me?
Exactly. And I do apologise because I did say that we weren't going to cover it, but I thought, we kind of led into it. And
I've got no issues. Like I said, I won't. As I said,
shy away
for me, your life's your life. There's no point just talking about the good things and not talking about that is who I am. That's what people see me as. So there's no point shying away from it.
I'm sure if I didn't ask it, then people that listen would have gone, well, why didn't you ask him?
I still play games of footy, or someone will be telling, my Wales Ski Club, or this or that. So look, it's fresh, it's still in people's minds when my name comes up. So, you know what? It is what it is.
And the thing is, what probably annoys me more, as much as Jordan De Goey shouldn't have done what he did, if that was me, well, maybe not so much you, me or the guy over there, if that was me or that guy, we wouldn't be on the front page of the newspaper every day, talk about callers about it, $10,000 fines, I can understand why it happens. I don't know how to...
It's a byproduct of the game and the professionalism. People say, well, they earn the money, it's bad luck, that's what they have to deal with. But, the young men who are learning,
they're young men, 20-year-old.
They've all come from a different background, different life experience. They're going to make mistakes.
Exactly.
And I'm big on feeling, and I was lucky. I could have been cut from the club many times, honestly, from indiscretions or whatever, having a beer or, in a football club, being 2 minutes late to training or to a meeting at 7 o'clock in the morning is a hanging crime. Imagine that, like, people don't understand that. The pressures on kids. Like, people, you might sleep in and you're 5 minutes late and all of a sudden you're going to get suspended from training because you missed a team meeting or whatever it might be. That wouldn't happen in the normal life. Like, and I don't highlight this, but there's been times I was late to training and you'd be looking, you'd nearly running red lights. You'd be definitely speeding to get to training because if you were late, it was the worst thing you could possibly do. That shows you the imbalance sometimes. And, Jordan De Goey, I'm not saying what he did was good by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a young kid who made a mistake. I feel that supporting him, helping him through it, and him learning from it, if he continues to make the same mistake, well, clearly he's an idiot and you get rid of him. But, the young men who are thrust into the spotlight of everybody, and the scrutiny is so intense on them nowadays that, I think we've got to be a little bit more understanding. Unfortunately, we're in a society that we just need to slag off everyone. We've got social media who they can all have their say, and it's media outlets want to report on news, and what people are talking about is news, and football's news here, so any player that does anything, it's going to be news.
Why can't they report on the players that go to the hospital and...
It's boring.
But to me, that's not.
No,
but
I mean that respect.
I know what you mean.
For the news, it is. They go, what's the point? It's a positive we want to talk about because it's going to create talking again.
Buying people.
I just feel, a player like him, he's got a lot of talent. He's a young kid. He's made a couple of mistakes and now he's being banished. I'm not saying that what Collingwood's done right or wrong, but he's obviously got to train away from the group and he's suspended indefinitely. What effect does that have for him mentally? And is that going to get the best out of him? Now they might think it will because they're teaching a lesson, but I sometimes think I know you've got the support of your closest mates. Your footy club, you're there every day. They're family to you. You see more of them than you do your family.
I thought it'd be more embarrassing being with the senior blokes because you've got to rock up to them and look them in the eye going, I fucked up.
Would be.
And you've got to train with them and get their respect back.
As a leader, you'd be tearing treats through him privately. Going, what are you doing? You're an idiot. You owe us. You do this, whatever it might be. But then showing the support. And I'm sure that's happening at Collingwood.
Yes.
I feel, and this is only a personal thing, I feel football clubs sometimes should come out more and be supportive of their players as opposed to towing the line because of sponsorship dollars and members that they're going to lose. we're in a game. Yes, money, it's a business, but we're in a game to win premierships, and having players play for you and want to be all involved, knowing that they've got that support, I think does wonders for a footy club. I wasn't there, but clearly, but there's some of my mates. But you look at the support, on the flip side. Mick gave the Didaks, the Swans,
the Rat Pack,
the Johnsons, the Shaws. They all buggered up, but they had the support of the coach who played for him. They all love him. Ben Johnson's one of my best mates. We argue about Mick constantly because he loves him, and I don't get along with him. So, but what I learned through all that is the support he showed them. They'd run in front of oncoming traffic for him. You know what I mean? So there's an element of that you need. And footy clubs can show more support to players, I believe. People argue that differently, but that's my take.
Point of view, and that's why we're all different. So that wraps up episode 1 with Scotto, Heath Scotland. Please let me know your thoughts and comments on that show. I had a ball. I hope you had as much fun listening to Heath as I did interviewing, having a chat with Mr. Heath Scotland. I think it was a really insightful chat. Part 2 is clearly just as good, if not even better. Some of the things he covers off are absolutely amazing. So stay tuned for part 2. That'll be coming out in the next week or two. I do hope that you jump onto the next episode, give that a listen, and let us know your thoughts. So again, thanks so much for having a listen. As I said at the top, if you could give us a follow, give us a share, that'd be greatly appreciated. Get in the running for the competition. Subscribe. Give it a 5-star rating. Put a couple of comments down. Would be hugely appreciative. Take a picture or screenshot of the rating and the review. Pop it on our Facebook page at Pearcey Presents or send a tweet through. And then I will keep a running track of people who have entered. And then once we've hit that milestone of 100 reviews and 100 subscriptions, then that prize kitty will go off. So again, thanks so much. Give Scotto a follow as well on Instagram and Twitter. And visit his website, sopremiumsignage.com. And don't forget to mention that you heard him on Pearcey Presents. Thanks so much. Hope you're having a great day or night or morning whenever you're hearing this. And I do hope that you come back and enjoy Pearcey Presents.